What's up, everybody? Jackpot here. I'm with James. Sorry for a little bit of a hiatus as well. James, don't know if you want to share strictly why that is, or if we just let our personal lives be personal.
Oh
I'll leave
no,
that up
guys,
to
I
you.
had COVID, so I had COVID and coaching all sorts of stuff, so didn't really have time to actually do some videos. But I'm back at it now, healthy and
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, James and I didn't. It's good to see James doing well, and also James and I. It's not like we weren't watching football. Like even in isolation, I'm sure James was
Oh,
digesting
I
some
was
football.
in everything. I especially for the Barcelona game, I really wanted to do a video, but I just wasn't
Um,
allowed.
So, guys, we're on to the quarterfinals now. A few less games. Obviously, what I want to do is just keep you up to date with how the scoring's going, especially if you guys are playing along at home. From the previous round, James on 10 points, I'm on 11, both out of 16. Going into this round as well, still only a point in it. I'm ahead only by one solitary point. I picked up a point on James with my correct prediction of the Real Madrid PSG game. James got that point back, picking Atletico Madrid over Manchester United. Apart from that, we were the same across the board. James sitting on 15 correct predictions out of 24, me with 16 out of 24. So we're doing okay. Both batting over kind of 500 here. So we're doing all right. But let's get into the next round of games. Obviously, again, we don't want to just steal each other's picks. So we will take alternate turns in who picks for the first games. I've already got mine written in, cross my heart and hope to die. James, first of all, on the Tuesday coming up, Benfica at home first against Liverpool. Who have you got on this one? Because let's be honest, Benfica, a little bit of a shock beating Ajax and getting through.
To be fair, you talk about a snatch and grab. That is the best way to describe that sort of performance from Benfica. To be fair, they did well to stay in the game against Ajax. Ajax to me overall were disappointing, but Benfica get in the corner, a bit of a mistake from the goalkeeper, but they get them goal. They find themselves in a quarterfinal of a Champions League. It's like, wow, we're actually here, and it's great for them. But to me, when you look at the next game against Liverpool, this is where Benfica's road ends. Because at this moment of time right now, Jack, the crazy thing about Liverpool is that they don't have to play well, but they're still going to win a game.
Right.
And Benfica, especially in the first leg, could probably outplay Liverpool for 75 minutes. But Liverpool will still find a way for that 15-minute spell, the moment of quality. I don't know, Jurgen Klopp might bring a player or two off the bench, and then the game just changes from there. And then they find themselves going to Anfield being 1 or 2 goals down, and it gets quite difficult for them. And like, to be fair, lately Liverpool's last two what's it called again, away trips to Portugal, they've been quite favourable to Liverpool. I think they won like 5-0 like twice or
Right.
something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I know the last time they went against Porto, they won 5-0. So Liverpool going to Portugal, they're gonna be confident. They're one of the favourites to win it overall. Unfortunately for Benfica, I just cannot see them beating this Liverpool team, Jack. I just I'm trying to find a way to see no. I just
No,
think
I
Liverpool
mean,
right
James,
now.
even if you park the quality side of it, even if you park all that 75 minutes, being good, all I needed to see in this competition is where the second leg is. That's all I care about with Liverpool at the moment. Seriously, up until the final, the only thing I care about, I'm picking, if Liverpool are at Anfield in the second leg, I don't care who it is. Bayern Munich, PSG, Real Madrid, whoever, I don't care. Man City, I don't care. If Anfield is the second leg, I'm picking Liverpool till the end of this competition. That's probably what I'm going to do for. All I needed to see was Benfica at home first. Yeah, I'm picking Liverpool. Yeah, we can break down, like you said, the quality and all those other parts of the game. That's all I need to see at this point. I think that this is going to be kind of the last stretch of what we know from this Liverpool team, because going forward, we know with the Mo Salah contract situation, Jurgen Klopp, he'll probably be thinking about, is there much more I can do with this team at this point? Because this team will slowly break away. We're already starting to see, Luis Diaz come in, Jota playing more games. So, this Liverpool team is going to look a little different going forward over the next 18 months or so. So this is kind of the last hurrah for this kind of great Liverpool team. They'll still be good because the recruitment is good and they're always going to have these great players. But, if Mo Salah's not there, I mean, you can basically call this a completely different Liverpool team. But yeah, I don't think we need to dwell too much on this game. Benfica, Liverpool, both of us picking Liverpool. I will go first on this one. Man City, Atletico Madrid. I'm going Man City. I think it'll be a somewhat similar game to the Manchester United game. I'm not going to lie, I actually really do. I know that Atletico Madrid are struggling, but again, I think these cup competitions do suit them, James. I think we can both agree on that. This is very Diego Simeone style. He's going to, I remember seeing stats from, I believe, Opta that were talking about in the second half. I think the ball was only in play in the Manchester United game for like 17 minutes. Like, Atletico Madrid are going to be great on this. Man City can have all the possession they want, but if the ball's not actually in play, they can't score goals. So I think it'll be close again. Difference, however, between Manchester City and Manchester United. Manchester City are a better football team. They have better finishers, better chance creators, more clinical. They have a way of playing, an ethos. So I just think that there'll be too much quality from this Manchester City team. All they need, James, is one or two plays in either legs that come with, like, a back post tap-in finish or a Kevin De Bruyne long shot. So I'm not ruling out Atletico Madrid. I think it's foolish to do so, but I just think there's too much quality, so I'm taking Man City. Who are you taking?
Jack, this is very interesting because you ever have when me and Jack are big wrestling fans, and we always have this thing in wrestling, man, this match is like 5 years too. I mean, this match is like 5 years too late. Like seeing, I don't know, like Undertaker, Goldberg,
In their 50s.
Yeah, right. It's like that was just like 10 years too late. And watching this game, to me, it feels like 3-4 years too late, because Atletico Madrid at their absolute peak against this Man City team, what a spectacle this could have been.
Great.
It just would have been the way Diego Simeone gets his team to work hard, 2 banks of 4, 2 strikers pressing up high, playing on a counter attack, having 20% of the possession, but that 20% being so productive with that going forwde. It would have been
Griezmann,
great to see.
Jimenez,
Diego, all sorts of
Godin,
there.
Costa,
Koke. It would have been an amazing game to watch. But the way this Atletico Madrid is team right now, they're not at the same level. Watching the Manchester United game, to me, it was just 2 poor teams just seeing who is just better than each other. Yeah.
Right.
And like they somehow were better than Manchester United. But when you watch both legs, Atletico Madrid weren't that great, and especially in that second leg, it was diabolical to watch. And Diego Simeone, I love him as a manager, but man, it's hard to watch his teams, Jack.
Yeah, it's not.
And especially in modern day football, the way you must be able to play from the back, all that sort of stuff that goes on there, they are going to struggle against this Man City team. Right. I feel like this is the worst nightmare for Diego Simeone, because yes, this team can suffer. They've suffered for many years, but they don't have the same quality that they had in previous years, where they could suffer for, I don't know, 85 minutes, but at 5 minutes of brilliance, they got it. They don't have that there. And they don't have the ball keepers the way that they used to. They don't have the productivity the way that they used to. And this Man City team, to me, are just going to suck the life out of them. Yeah, the first leg they might get away with a 1-1.
Which is in Manchester, James. That's the only other thing I'll say,
first leg is in Manchester.
Yeah.
But Jack, even if they get away with it, with a 1-1 draw, I still see Man City coming up in the second leg and finding a way to beat this Atletico Madrid team. You must understand, Jack, that also they played against Liverpool twice this season, and Liverpool in both legs dispatched them. I know they came back from 2 goals down, and obviously Griezmann got sent off, and Liverpool ended up winning 3-2. But they went to Anfield, and Jack, they lost 2-0, and it could have been even more. And you look at the way Liverpool are and Man City are, they're quite level when it's based on quality. And I just see the way the Liverpool game went for Atletico Madrid, I see the exact same thing happen against Man City. And I see Man City going through again.
I'm picking them too. Don't get this wrong in your head. I'm picking them too. The one thing I'll say is they match up better with Manchester City. I do think they match up better. And the thing is, I know they're not a speed-based team, Atletico Madrid. I know that. But if you can get Griezmann a little bit of space, if you can get João Felix a little bit of space, I think Man City, they could potentially be got at a little bit. And the only problem is, if they don't make the home advantage count at the Etihad, could be a tough evening at the Wanda Metropolitano, which you never know may result in them losing on penalties or something like that, right? Maybe. But quality-wise, I'm picking Man City, of course. I do expect them to do the better job. But I'm just saying, it's not as easy as the Liverpool Benfica one in my head, right?
I wish this, as I said before, I just wish this was 3-4 years ago, man. And 3-4 years ago, I would have picked Atletico easily. But now, to me, they're just not at the same level that they were even last season, Jack. You look at how poor their form is. Yes, they've picked up slack in the league in the past few weeks and like showed a bit of form, but I just don't think that form is good enough to challenge this Man City team. Who, when
Right.
they get you, Jack, it's a long
It's
day for
over.
you because they will suck the life out of you.
So moving on to the next game, and also just a quick confession as well. I did put the Villarreal Juventus game on like my kind of upset alert, and it was a tactical pick. The fact I picked Juventus because I knew James would pick them as well, so I knew he wasn't going to get a point on me. I'm just going to go with my heart on these now. I'm not going to play these kind of tactical games to make sure I try and win. I'm going to try and just pick the teams that I think are going to win and just go out for it. Why not? However, Villarreal at home first against Bayern Munich, who are my pick to win the whole thing before the season even started. James, you're picking first here. Is this an easy Bayern Munich win, or Villarreal going to maybe be an underdog again?
This one for me is one that you expect me just to go Bayern Munich, and yeah, I do see Bayern Munich going through, but just going through because Villarreal to me, as Jack mentioned before, how they're a great cup side. You've seen what they were able to do in like the Europa League last season, and like Jack, let's be honest, Jack. The fact of the matter is that they beat Arsenal. I get it; it's not Arsenal of old, but it's still Arsenal. They were able to beat them in two legs, and then
Right.
against Manchester United, who were a Champions League team last season and also this season, beat them. Yes, it wasn't the greatest performance from them, but Jack, they found a way to win. And this is
It was
a
when,
game.
James, as one thing I'll say as well, that was when Manchester United were the best team in England, right? There was that post-COVID lockdown stretch of games where Manchester United were winning like every game. It was the reason why I picked them to win the league this year. That's not a brilliant look now, but I'm just saying there's weight behind that Europa League victory for sure.
Yeah, but like you look at, to me, Bayern Munich, and we obviously look the last result, the game against RB Salzburg, where like in the second leg, what they won like 7-1, something like that.
Right.
They just went off, and Bayern were just Bayern. This is not the same Bayern team, Jack. Defensively they don't have the same nouns. You look like you look at when they had Boateng and Alaba there, how they could, let's say, play on the halfway line and like be sure that even if they get in behind there, they got Alaba recovering. They got
Alphonso
Mano
Davies.
Neuer playing almost on the halfway line. You have Jerome Boateng there, Alphonso Davies, who hasn't been fit
No.
this whole season, if I'm being honest. Yes, they do have Robin Lewandowski and the quality's there, but it's not at the same level as it was like 2 seasons ago. They are also going through this weird transition of where they to me, where are they going right now midfield wise, losing a player like Thiago Alcantara. But as I mention all this stuff, it is still Bayern Munich, and they have
Right.
enough quality just to go through by their skin of their teeth. It's not going to be something where we're going to see them run through this um um run through this Villarreal team, but I just do see them going through at the end of the day.
Yeah, James, it's another match where it's based on individual brilliance. Over two legs, we didn't see that individual brilliance from the Juventus players. We didn't see a debate. I think part of the reason why I picked Juve or was trying to justify picking Juve, yeah, outside the box, curler into the top left-hand corner with his left foot from Paulo Dybala. Sure, I could see something like that happening, of course. Dusan Vlahovic getting a shot out of nowhere and just finishing. Like, yeah, okay, he scored over the leg, and it was an opportunity he probably shouldn't have, even had for himself. But there wasn't that one difference maker moment. I'm still going to go with the difference makers. Yeah, I'm still going to go with the difference makers. I'm still going to go with Robert Lewandowski. I'm still going to go with a Thomas Muller tap-in. I'm still going to go with Serge Gnabry, creating something out of nothing. Leroy Sané, these kinds of, high-quality football players that they do still have as part of the team. But Villarreal, repeating myself, probably for the third or fourth time this season, they play up, they play down to the level of their competition. They're going to make this hard, James. And, I'll be honest with you, I'm looking here, Villarreal at home first. I think that's probably the worst thing there. If Bayern Munich were at home first, I'd give Villarreal a much better chance. But at Villarreal, again, they have to try and make it tell, or else basically, James, their only goal is going to be going through on penalties. But yeah, I'm picking Bayern too. Guys, this is my pick for the whole thing before the season started, and I'm not going to remove it just because of stuff I've seen. I'm going to try and stay true to this.
Jack, the one thing for me that I see the difference between Bayern and like Juventus is that you mentioned individual quality. I feel like the individual quality out wide for Bayern Munich with players like Kingsley Coman, Serge Gnabry, to me will ultimately be the difference. Yes, they got Robin Lewandowski, and we know the brilliance of him. But once Bayern actually get that ball moving in also create isolation plays out wide for Serge Gnabry, for Kingsley Coman, that to me is where they're really going to trouble this
Right.
Villarreal team. And if those two get going, that's to me their best option of actually winning the game.
And we know the two guys who are going to be sniffing around there to score those goals is Lewandowski, who to me, should have won some, individual awards this past year, right?
We're
And
not going to
Thomas
get into
Muller,
that,
who we
Jack.
know, no, but and Thomas Muller, who is one of the biggest poachers and goal getters that we've ever seen. Grace European football. He's always in the right place at the right time. Although he doesn't necessarily have the physical or technical gifts, I think you'd say that maybe some of his contemporaries do have. So yeah, no, look, I'm with you on that, James. But again, I'm not as confident on that one as I was the Man City result or the Liverpool one. I think that one's probably, it might be hard to believe, but probably the closest tie of the whole thing so far.
But Jack, it's also credit to Villarreal and to me, their cup qualities. Because we look at Bayern Munich, you think Bayern Munich gonna blow them away. No, I think this Villarreal team, they're a team to fear.
It's Unai Emery. Honestly, I feel it's this Unai Emery effect. I think you and I have said this a number of times. He's never going to win a Champions League with a team of this nature. It doesn't really suit the play style. It's a Europa League top level. But I think if Unai Emery goes to any team of Villarreal's kind of level, after a couple of years in the Europa League, the Conference League, these teams are going to be ready to play and win these trophies. But at the top level, probably just not enough. Moving on to the final game, and one hell of a blockbuster. I'm going first on this one. Chelsea are at home first at Stamford Bridge against Real Madrid. James, I'm going with Chelsea. And I know that people might think, well, that's a bit of a slap in the face to Paris Saint-Germain. I don't care. I really don't care, because I think the mistakes and the breakdown that we saw from Paris Saint-Germain in that second leg with that Benzema hat-trick, that is not going to affect this Chelsea team. That's not going to be the type of thing that will happen to this Chelsea team. Too much intelligent, veteran-level players on this team. Talk about Cesar Azpilicueta. Talk about Thiago Silva, Jorginho, somebody like that. N'Golo Kante's been there, done it, won it all at this point. There's players across the pitch. Rudiger, still probably, playing for a little few more zeros on the end of his paycheck when he signs his next contract at the end of this season. So I'm picking Chelsea. Again, Real Madrid have difference makers that Chelsea don't have. Flat out, Chelsea don't have. I don't think Romelu Lukaku is that difference maker anymore in this Chelsea team. He's not. I don't look at him that way. Timo Werner, I don't look at him that way. Pulisic, Ziyech, these kinds of players, I really don't see them as difference makers. Chelsea are successful based on a team performance and very, very good quality across the entire pitch, including that area in midfield where we know they have some serious, unbelievable talent. I think arguments can be made for Jorginho, for Kante, and even Kovacic. I think Kovacic is absolutely fantastic with somebody maybe like a Mason Mount in there providing more of an attacking threat. Diverse options going forward, diverse options out wide as well. Good centre-back play. And James, arguably the best goalkeeper in the world right now in Edu Mendy. So I'm going to go with Chelsea here. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I'm absolutely terrified of Vinicius Jr. I'm absolutely terrified of Karim Benzema. I'm absolutely terrified of that midfield three. Of course I am. But I just think Chelsea will have enough over the two legs to take it. Now, I was hoping when I'd picked Chelsea that you wouldn't have also picked Chelsea, because then we'd have the same across the board. But I guess we'll find out.
Jack, again, I only go on what I see and also what I feel. And what happened in the first in the last 16. I picked PSG, and for some weird reason, they somehow found a way to collapse. And it wasn't the doing of Real Madrid showing that Real Madrid grit and determination. No, it was just the team collapsing in PSG. This should be Chelsea versus PSG, but somehow that rotten team found their way out of the competition and was sat here with Real Madrid. Jack, everything you said about Real Madrid is right to a certain point, but there's certain things you kind of got wrong there. You mentioned this midfield. If Real Madrid go with the Casemiro, Modric, and Toni Kroos, they're going to get run off the park. Yeah. Real Madrid's biggest problem against Chelsea is Carlo Ancelotti. Because if he does what he does, but if he does what he does, Real Madrid could get absolutely battered in 2 legs. Now, the scoreline might not tell you that, oh, it's 6-7-8 to Chelsea, but I'm talking about in performance. Because Jack,
Right.
we've seen that in the first leg against PSG, where Real Madrid sat back there. I do understand Benzema was injured, but they came with this weird approach, sat back and just got absolutely trounced by PSG, struggled to get out. And then a week later, 3 weeks later, we see this against Barcelona, where like they go for this 4-4-2 diamond shape with Rodrigo and Vinicius and get absolutely battered against Barcelona. And if they try a similar approach with Toni Kroos, who doesn't have the legs anymore, listen, Modric does. I'll let Modric play, definitely, because he's still brilliant. Casemiro, he's still there. But if they play Kroos, in my opinion, Jack, they're going to get run off the park. He doesn't have the legs to stand with a Kovacic and Kante. And even to a certain sense, like Jorginho, if they are going to do this right now, they might need to look for players like Valverde, in Camavinga, who can actually go toe to toe with that Chelsea's midfield. Because Jack, Chelsea's midfield isn't the most technically sought after midfield, but it's industrious, Jack. It can get box to box, and like Jack, we've seen what Kante did last season. In both legs, Jack. Man and match like in both legs, and just ran Real Madrid into the ground. And they need somebody that like can match Kante stride for stride. So if they go with this midfield of like the normal midfield, they're gonna get just absolutely trounced. And again, Carlo Ancelotti, we have to see what he does, because his approach will ultimately tell us Real Madrid's destiny in this game. But based on everything I've just told you, Jack, to me, it's Chelsea. You know, and a lot of Real Madrid fans, they'll be truthfully honest with you. Their team, they don't
Also,
really
James,
believe.
I mean, elephant in the room in my position as well. El Clasico, like I can't pretend that I didn't see that.
This
You know
is
what I
I'm
mean?
saying, Jack. Listen, we're not dumb. We just seen what happened.
No, exactly. And again,
You
like,
know?
don't get me wrong, maybe they feel like, oh, well, where our motivations lie this year, especially after that huge scalp in the Paris Saint-Germain game, and maybe this is the competition we're going to go for. Like, it's like, really? You think so? Like,
Real Madrid fans will tell you right now, the one thing that they can tell you, Benzema didn't play. Now, if Benzema is going to make that much of a difference against Chelsea, give him the Ballon d'Or right now. Because, yes, Benzema's unbelievable goal scorer. I get it. He creates chances for you guys. Amazing in the build-up. But everything else, Jack, there's more to that than just creating chances in like scoring goals. Like if Benzema makes that much of a difference to this team, where he's tracking back, he's stopping Kante and all sorts of stuff, like, yeah, I just see Chelsea just going through them. If I'm being easily, if I'm being truthfully honest, Jack.
And James as well, when we were picking this game against Lille, a month or so ago, right? Chelsea were a different team. We were talking about Tuchel being fired, all this stuff with Roman Abramovich and Ukraine and all this kind of stuff that's happening. Like, this were a club that couldn't re-sign players, and players were looking to forcibly leave their contracts. James, ever since then, the club is about to be sold, quite potentially, right? And also, they've won, I think, 5 or 6 games on the trot. This is a team back in form, and they're not playing Lille. They're playing somebody else.
That's, to me, the biggest thing, because all this distraction is like going on with Chelsea, with the Roman Abramovich stuff. Players not going to be at the club. They can't sign players. Fans not being there. Jack, they're undefeated. Ever since all this, they're winning every single game. Rather, Jack, they're away against Middlesbrough or like at home against, I don't know, Crystal Palace, Jack. They're winning football games. Yeah. And Champions League against Lille, it didn't bother them. They made light work of it, And this one, to me, would just be the exact same thing for them.
So, guys, just to kind of conclude here, I hate to be boring, and I'm sure James hates to be boring too, but we've been true to ourselves. I already had my picks written in here. We went alternate people who go first, so we weren't just copying one another. James and I have both taken Liverpool against Benfica. We've both taken Man City against Atletico Madrid. We've both taken Bayern Munich against Villarreal. We've both taken Chelsea against Real Madrid. We have taken the favourite in every single game. Now, across 4 games, the law of averages would tell you maybe, but probably one of those may not go the way we think it's going to go. So let's see which one that might be. if you're playing along with us, obviously drop it in the comments. I don't want to hear anything from anybody saying, oh yeah, I got 24 out of 24 right so far this Champions League season. It's like, if you don't have proof, I don't want to hear it. We're documenting our ones just to make sure. I'm currently on 16 points. James is on 15. Until we get into the semi-finals, regardless of the outcome, I'm still only going to be 1 point ahead of James here. So he's going to have to make up the ground either next round or in the final. James, anything else from you, mate?
Guys, just share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts, and me and Jack will see you next time.